I'm just waiting a few moments. There's a couple of people that reached out that said they're gonna be here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Is off.
Yeah, most of the time when you hear me speak, that's all.
I think there's a couple of people at City Hall right now, but they're having like a little bit of technical um, issues. So I'm just gonna wait like a couple more minutes.
Oh, I just heard you.
Okay. But this is gonna have to be muted.
All set?
Not yet.
Test.
It's echoey. Okay. Should I begin?
Diana, you got your committee?
I do, but they're trying to get hooked into City Hall, so they're having some issues.
So who's there, Kate, that you can't?
President Cooper and Councilor Dolan.
You good, Diana? Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
we're good.
yes,
Yep.
Great.
Jim Jones to the rescue. He fixed it.
perfect. Okay. Thank you for my committee for being patient. It's kind of echoing for me. So I'll start my committee meeting. Call Ordinance Election Legislative Matters Committee to order at 6:08. Committee members are myself, Councilor G. Simone, and Vice President Jackson. I have one motion this evening from the docket of March 16, 2021. I move to approve the following amendments to section 18-1.8 of the Local Wetlands Protection Ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. So my hope is that if there's any questions that my committee or the council is looking to have answered, I'm going to take notes and try to get them answered. And then for the next full council meeting, which will be in early November, we would then have it maybe voted out tonight, and then I will have those answers then. I'm hoping that that is something that we can accomplish today. So with that being said, I know that there were some unanswered questions or feeling that things weren't clear. So does anyone have any questions that they would like me to get clarification on?
I do, Chair Holmes.
Okay.
Well, mostly I think as you, hopefully, and Vice President Jackson received a proposed amendment. And I would respectfully ask that I offer the amendment because I think it answers to me some of the primary issues that I heard at the meeting, because I was listening and I am open. I do generally support this measure. I think that's clear, and I just want to be transparent. However, I understand it's a big jump. But we heard a lot of testimony, we heard a lot of statements from both sides, got information from both sides of the matter. And I'm thinking not only of the people who came forward, but of all the residents. And the thing that keeps coming back to my mind is that two of the primary purposes behind the Wetlands Protection Act, and indeed the protection of our water resources at all, is protecting public and private water supply and protecting groundwater. So for me, it is fundamentally about the water and of course the environment and the creatures and et cetera, et cetera. However, I understand that water is abutted by land that is owned by people. And I am sympathetic to some of the concerns raised by homeowners, particularly about appeal rights. That caught my ear for sure. And particularly about whether or not there was an opportunity to grandfather, if you will. And I use quotations because that's not technically something that would be in the ordinance, but I'm open to offering more exemptions, and that's what my amendment does. I'm proposing to shrink the distance from 75 to 50, and I'm proposing to exempt a lot more activities by existing homeowners. By exempting them from the Wetlands Protection Zone, it is my belief that their appeal rights remain before the state, because you may recall that homeowners were concerned with having to appeal to Superior Court and the costs involved with those kinds of appeals. What I would respectfully ask, because it has not been reviewed by the experts in this matter, Nick and Gary, is if you would consider forwarding it to them for their review to make sure there's nothing in there that's inappropriate or inaccurate or could cause more problems than it solves. So that's one thing I would ask of the chair.
Okay, so was this emailed to us, forwarded to us?
Yeah, I
Okay.
emailed it. Steve was supposed to, I asked the city clerk to send it out to you
Okay.
and the Vice President Jackson.
Okay, and so your hope is that this can be sent to the department heads to look over and review?
Yeah, only because again, they're the experts in it and I want to make sure I'm not misstating, but I think it's worthy of consideration in lieu of the 5 public hearings, the hours of statements we heard, and the interests that are at issue here, which is primarily for me, water. So I think it's worthy of consideration. And I just think it makes sense to let them look at it, but that's entirely up to you.
Are you offering any amendments right now?
I do. I would offer that which was emailed, I hope, to you and Vice President Jackson. It's lengthy. I don't know if you would like me to read it, Diana. It's quite lengthy. But again, I'll summarize, if you will. Reducing it from 75 to 50 and exempting very clearly a lot of activities that existing property owners might want to do. And by exempting them, keeping them in the appeal process through the state versus the Superior Court, which was an issue we heard mentioned repeatedly. So it lets people do a lot more than as previously stated. And if they're denied the opportunity, that activity, they could appeal to the state as they would do now. That's my purpose anyway. That's my hope.
Okay, are you hoping, so you're hoping to have this amendment be passed in the committee then?
At some point, but you were soliciting questions and I'm wondering if having this reviewed is something you would consider.
Okay,
But again, I defer to you.
okay, all right. Vice President Jackson?
Thank you. Kathleen, when I did read that over today, that was my exact thoughts too, that we at least have conservation agent Nick have a take a look at it and Gary Erasian, just to be sure that it's clarified, just exactly what you said. I think that's a good idea before we vote on that.
Okay. That sounds reasonable to me for sure.
Great.
Diane,
Council Blair?
I know I'm not on your committee, if you don't mind a comment. I would hope that any amendments made on something of this magnitude would be done in front of the full council at the regular meeting, Kathleen, no disrespect, but I don't think it should come out of committee amended, especially at this late date. You have plenty of time at a council meeting when we have a full council, hopefully meeting at City Hall, that any amendments, that's the time to bring them out. And I agree with Kate that they should be reviewed before it gets to that point. Thanks, Diane.
Yes, of course. I mean, there's always two, sometimes the work can be done in a committee, sometimes it can be done before full council. I think that there's benefits, there's pros and cons to both. Are there any other questions that the council, President Cooper?
Well, I would suggest that as a member of the committee, Councilor DeSimone could make amendments at the committee level and the committee could agree or disagree on the merits of each of her amendments. It's up to the individual. There's no reason to bring a page and a half worth of amendments before the full council and have to vote on every single one of them, roll call vote. And then there'll be amendments to the amendments, and then we'll be going around in circles. I think some of that work should be done in the committee level. And if that takes an extra committee meeting to make that happen in between, I think that's what we should do. One thing with regard to the amendment, I didn't see in what you submitted, Kathleen, the Council DeSimone, the ability to appeal through DEP. In this, maybe I don't have the most current version, but could you point me to where that is if it's here and I missed it?
Yeah, no, thank you, President Cooper. And that's another reason I want it to be reviewed. It's my understanding that if it falls out of the immediate purview of the wetlands, the WPZ, that it's within the 100-foot buffer and therefore subject to the state jurisdiction. That's how I understand it. That they would be making the decision based upon it being in the 100-foot buffer because it's exempt. So I'm thinking it's not under their control because it's exempt activity. That's my goal, President Cooper. So that's exactly why I would want it reviewed, because that's what I was trying to achieve, to keep it under the state jurisdiction for review. And I thought that by exempting it completely would accomplish that.
I'm following you, and I think we just need to make sure that that's
Exactly.
clear.
Yes, sir. Right.
And if it needs to remain in the ordinance, then that we keep it that way to allow applicants that are denied a permit at the local level within 100 feet can then go to DEP and not have to jump directly to Superior Court for an appeals hearing that takes a lot longer and a lot more financial resource to get that done. A follow-up question, if I may, Councilor Holmes, can you summarize for us and for anybody that is watching what additional exemptions I think you mentioned additional exemptions that you could point out to us that you added to this? I understand the decrease from 50 to 75. I see this add section D, but it felt like a lot of those in section D were in the exemptions already, or were pretty tightly connected. So can you help me understand the difference between those two sections?
Are you speaking to me, President Cooper, or the chair?
Well, likely to you since you wrote it, but that's up to Councilor Holmes if she wants to defer that to you. That's
Understood.
Please.
May I, Diana?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so President Cooper, thank you for your question. What I did was I took things that were previously under the proposed section D and considered minor activities, therefore subject to the jurisdiction of the Concom and the conservation agent. I took them out of section D, minor activities, reworded them slightly and put them under exemptions. So you'll notice, and I'm sorry to the rest of the council, I didn't know if the chair would send this out to you all before the meeting, so my apologies. I didn't know how to proceed. President Cooper, you'll notice that items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are all items that were previously listed as minor activities, therefore subject to the jurisdiction of Concom and the conservation agent. I reworded them. Frankly, I think I liberalized them in some ways and put them under exemptions. Everything after G, starting from H, is the same as was in there previously.
Thank you for that clarification. And that concludes my questions at this time.
Okay, well, so we do need to get this to the full council, I feel like. So I think step one would be getting it to the full council. I can share it with the department heads that we had discussed, Nick and Gary, and then I'm going to talk to President Cooper too, because I just want to make sure that I don't even know if the city solicitor, if there's something I may have to even connect with the city solicitor. So, and then how about if we maybe regroup next week and have a committee meeting? And it sounds like it may make sense for us to do the amendments in committee to kind of work it through and then get it to the full council, if my committee members are open to that.
Chair Holmes, I appreciate what Councilor Blair is saying, but there's a lot here, which is why I think the committee makes a little bit more sense at this stage, because there's a lot to kind of digest and go through. So I agree with you.
Thank you. Councilor Delosio?
You're muted, Jay.
Sorry about that. Without seeing the document, I don't know what's in it. I don't know how drastically different it is. But, and this might be a question for President Cooper, at what point do we then have to look at if the changes are drastic enough, is it going to trigger a new public hearing or a new second public hearing? If it
Yeah,
changes,
Sorry if I may, Councilor Holmes. At this point, I don't think the changes are substantive enough to warrant a new public hearing. And as we continue to go through this process, we'll have to make that determination as other potential amendments or changes are contemplated by the committee and then by the council. But at this point, based on what I read here, I don't think that it's substantive enough to say that it's outside of the context of what was advertised.
okay. Thank you for that.
So just one other thing, remember, we don't want this to get into the next year, because then it would be,
Right.
I mean, like, there is a time, we do have to kind of be mindful of a time frame here. But I think that that's fair, since every counselor has not received this, to get it to every counselor, regroup with making sure that Nick and Gary are also able to review this and going from there. Go ahead, Counselor DeSimone.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, if Nick and Gary have particular issues with it, it's not something I'm going to push over the objections of the experts in the city. So I'll, I'm curious as to what their opinion is. And if they raise red flags, then I think it would be appropriate to not continue. If something is in here that they disagree with, then I'm not going to push it over the department heads, so.
Thank you. Counselor Blair?
If you amend this in committee, Mr. Cooper, President Cooper, listen to this, and you don't go along with the amendment because we don't have any say in committee, in your committee, Diana, as far as these amendments are concerned. How procedurally do we go to get this back to the original motion?
You can,
Put it down.
sorry, you can do one of two things. You can vote no when it comes before the full council, or you can make an amendment to go back. But I think that lively conversation will be well understood in the council committee meeting. I think the committee would likely not move something forward that was, if heard by the other majority of the council, to that wasn't in support of whatever that amendment might be, right? So I think the committee should and would likely take that testimony of others outside of the committee when considering how to vote for the motion. And if they can't come up with that, or something passed that a majority of the council said, I won't support that on the floor, you either say no, or you make a motion before the full council. But I think doing a substantive enough changes in wording and adding a section and adding, some additional things, and potentially adding the appeal rights back in is worthy of discussion at the committee level.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
So I think, Counselor DeSimone has put a lot of effort into this, and I really appreciate it. And I think her goal is to make this so it's potentially a little bit easier for counselors to maybe be agreeable to. So I don't see why we would then go back. Like I feel like going from the 75 to the 50 is to try to, the hope is that more counselors would be on board with this. So yeah, of course, amendments can be made in the committee, and then the full council can still, anyone can still make a motion to amend in the full council. So, but because this is so detailed, I do think that in the committee, that's where it seems like the work should kind of take place. If my members are comfortable with the plan that I had suggested and that we had kind of created together, I'll move forward with that. thoughts?
I just have one other
Oh,
follow-up question. So I just want to make sure that from a questions perspective, that the council and your committee has armed you with what you need to go forward and conquer the answers for the next committee meeting on whatever date it is, a week from
26.
today.
Mhm.
So that you're prepared and we don't have a situation where it's, oh geez, I wish I had asked. I mean, you can always do that, but I think Council Holmes has pleaded a couple of times with, and I know not everybody has what you have now, and if you have questions as a result of your review, send them to Steve to send to Councilor Holmes. But the only thing that I heard tonight in terms of sort of to the committee chair to obtain additional information was clarity around appeal language and where that should reside and what that means, and reviewing the potential amendments that were submitted this afternoon by Councilor DeSimone. So I'm not the committee chair, but if you have other concerns, questions, comments, problems, at this committee meeting now is the time to talk through some of that so that we can, so Councilor Holmes can get the answers that you're looking for so that you can make an informed decision about this matter. So, and I'll stop talking to let others ask their questions if they have them.
Well said. So again, I had already kind of said in committee, there is a time frame here that we have to work within. So I just don't want it to kind of be a situation where this is kind of lingering and lingering and lingering. We do have to kind of somehow, as the committee, come together, make some decisions, and then have it be before the full council. Councilor DeSimone?
Chair Holmes, I fully appreciate what you and Council Bear have said. This is not submitted to be obstructionist or to lay at all. I think this is a very fair proposal, trying to do right by the city and by all of the residents. That is my purpose. It is nothing other than that. I would ask that when you talk to Gary and Nick, if you could have them expedite their opinion so as to not delay this. I'm all for getting this to the floor and voting on it. We've worked hard. The residents deserve an answer. I agree with you completely on that. So please know that my intent is to maybe give something that works better for more people. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I see Councilor Dolan.
Yes,
It's hard to see. Okay.
that's all right. May I ask a question? First of all, thank you for doing this. And I don't have the amendment from Councilor DeSimone, which I guess the rest of the council doesn't. So I appreciate you allowing us to take the time to read it and to discuss it in the next committee meeting. And if I do have any questions through you, I will make sure that I read this immediately as soon as it's sent out and get them to you expeditiously, so we do not prolong this any longer. And again, I thank you for allowing us to review this, ask questions, and really put some thought into it. And you know, that's what the residents deserve, is for us to do some work on this. So thank you, Councilor Holmes.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, I will proceed with that plan, and I'll call for an adjournment.
Nope. Council Holmes,
Yes.
Councilor DeSimone needs to withdraw her second because we're not bringing it out of committee.
I move to withdraw my second,
Thank
or I'd
you.
like to withdraw my second, please.
Thank you. So now I will call for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
29.
We adjourned at 6:29. Thank you.
Mark, you get the agenda?
Committee meeting now?
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be tax classification?
Isn't Jay?
Yeah, at 6:30.
He's-
Oh, you got a minute.
We're all whispering over here.
Steve, do you want to go?
You're doing a good job whispering, Laura.
Like, what's happening?
I'd like to call Budget and Appropriations order at 6:30. I have two pieces of business to bring out tonight, should be relatively quick. Long and short of it, I didn't have a chance to really talk too much in depth to Deb last week before the committee meeting, and she was on a well-deserved vacation, had a chance to catch up with her and even Jeremy today for a little bit. So I entertain a motion to transfer $119,593.20 from account 1124100 -578300 citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 1301100-5622000 education Bristol agricultural high school debt.
Second, and just a quick Scribner's error, can you reread the education account number? The second account number. There was an extra 0.
1301000-5622000.
That's it. Good. Second.
Pretty sure that's what I read, buddy, but I appreciate it. All right. So we have 20 Attleboro pupils who are enrolled in Bristol Aggie, and they did a renovation of the school, and the amount paid by that is footed by surrounding municipalities, and it's based on the enrollment numbers. So this is the first payment amount, which is due by the end of this month. This is an obligation which needs to be paid. And also, I think it's important to know that this will be a recurring expense, and I believe it will be budgeted going forward. So any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Council Cobus?
Is this the first time we've had to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
We will be getting, I believe there's another one that might be due in March. So we'll be, Deb will be sending down communications and we'll be talking about it.
fair enough. Thank you.
It's an obligation.
Yep.
Councilor Blair?
Hey, that was quite an extensive renovations. I didn't know it at the time I was aware of it that we were going to be charged for it, but they did quite an extensive renovation over there. Yeah, well needed. It wasn't no fluff. It was a good renovation and well needed. So
Totally agree. So,
we need to pay for it if we got students there.
but I think, you know, to put in perspective too, if we had, let's just say at the Foxborough Charter School, they did something similar, I think it would be in the same boat. It's just because obligations in the school department actually pays for the pupils, a part of their tuition, I understand. So it's reciprocal. Any other questions or thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Also from the docket of October 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to rescind the intergovernmental state and county assessments in the amount of $5,893,470 within council vote number 10 of June 17th, 2021, and replace it with the amount listed below. Let me just get to that. I'll read these in now, Council Cobus, so we don't have to do it at the full meeting.
Sounds good.
I'm going to go program account number, fiscal 22 House and Ways and Means budget rescind, and then the vote. County tax 1980100-5621000, $529,261, replaced with $529,261. Mosquito control projects 1980100-5639000, $109,513. The new amount is $109,507, a difference of $6. Air pollution districts 1980100-5640000, $12,728. $12,728, no difference. RMV surcharge non-renewal 1980100-56460, $86,460. $86,460, no change. Regional transit 1980100-56630, $439,548. $439,548, no change. Special education 1980100-56500, $40,777. $41,237, a change of plus $460. School tuition choice sending 1980100-5651000, $472,962, $525,488, an increase of $52,526. Charter tuition school sending 1980100-5652000, $4,202,208, $4,202,208, no change. Totals all estimated, $5,893,457, $5,946,437, for a change of an increase of $52,980.
Second.
Thank you, Council Cobus. This is something we do annually once the updated numbers come in from the Ways and Means Committee. We need to vote this out in order to balance the recapitulation, which will be coming out shortly. Any questions, thoughts, concerns on this?
Straightforward.
Very straightforward and boilerplate. We do it every year. Plus nice little increase of 52,000 coming back, so we'll take it. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
No one here to oppose or abstain. Motion passes. I'm just doing the minutes as we go along. All right, so next week I'm going to call for a meeting at 6:15 with the intent of having a discussion about the certified free cash. We have a larger than normal number this year. I think we all saw that in Deb's communication. I think as a council, we should have a discussion and make a recommendation to the administration as to what we think the best way to utilize the free cash so we can plan for the future, whether it's an economic turndown or a COVID resurgence. I just think when we're dealing with this amount of money, we really should be taking a good portion of it, planning for the future, trying to be as fiscally prudent as we can be. I think we've all seen the memo, want to make sure that we're planning for that quote unquote rainy day. No one ever saw COVID coming, but yet here we are dealing with the aftermath. Questions? Todd, just kind of your input on that. What are your thoughts?
I think it makes perfect sense, and I applaud you as the budget chair for driving that. So,
all right,
absolutely.
I appreciate that. And along those same lines, I did talk to Jeremy today outside of City Hall. I'm going to have him come down probably next week and discuss ARPA and how it can be used, what can't it be used for, what the current plans are for it. And I think there's a message, there's a communication coming down tonight from the administration with some initial plans. But when you're talking about that amount of money as well, I think it would only behoove the council to have a full understanding of what it can, and will be used for. And I just think we need to get back to having regular communications, quarterly communications with the finance team.
And if I may,
Of course.
as part of seeding that conversation for next week in ARPA discussion about ARPA funds, I would love for you to ask about school air filtration. We had touched on that a little bit last week or 2 weeks ago, but it'd be great if we could use some of those ARPA funds to upgrade the schools and the air filtration systems throughout.
Okay, makes total sense. All right, so I will call, I don't know if there's anything else, any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Seeing none, I would call for an adjournment at 6:39.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:39.
David. I'd like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7 PM. This is a hybrid meeting this evening. Some of us are here in City Hall. Some of us are on the Zoom meeting. At this time, Mr. Withers, would you kindly do a roll call attendance?
I will. Mr. Blair.
Here,
Ms. DeSimone.
Here.
Mr. Conti.
Present.
Mr. Waterman.
Present.
Vice President Jackson.
Here,
Mr. Delissio.
Here,
Hovis.
Here,
Ms. Dolan.
Here.
Ms. Reynolds.
here.
Ms. Holmes.
Present.
President Cooper.
Here.
Everyone is in attendance.
Thank you. Mr. Withers, would you kindly read the notice for the first public hearing this evening?
I certainly will. This is a public hearing to discuss a possible revocation, alteration, or suspension of the Class 2 license for R&D Motors located at 116 Different Street.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the revocation of the license? Anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone on the Zoom by any chance?
no,
Thank you.
So
Yes.
President Cooper, I just want to let you know, I would have had a guest this evening, investigator from the Rhode Island R&B, but he had a family emergency and couldn't make it. But if we need him, if any of the other counselors feel that they need to ask him questions, I do have a ton of paperwork here, and I did distribute paperwork to the council. If they still, after this public hearing, feel that we need to speak with him, I'm sure I can have him as a guest at my committee meeting, or you can forward me any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you for that. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the revocation of this license? Hello, identify yourself for the record. You can, if it's easier for you to talk to us, you can take your mask off.
Daniel Martinez.
So Danny.
So, Mr. Martinez, if you want to, do you mind if I just
Well, I think we could.
hear from him? And
Well, you know why you're here.
Yeah, so it's for selling cars out of state.
Right, but then we also have the most recent incident that we received information from Mr. Goodwin, Investigator Goodwin, regarding, let me see. So what do you want to, do you want to address the other stuff first? The out-of-state stuff? You want to discuss that first?
I don't know, like, I had a lawyer, but her mother's in the hospital in Boston, so I just came myself.
Okay,
So whatever you said, ask me, I'm honest about it. I don't have nothing to hide.
okay.
go ahead, Councilor Dolan, you can continue.
So initially, we had called this hearing for the out-of-state stuff. Okay, so we have quite a bit here. See, I know I called you. You remember speaking with me. So we have quite a few things here, and I'll try to make it short. So basically, this is the dealership in Curtis Motors in Rhode Island
Yes,
that you had stated that they do your repairs
Yes.
and they occasionally sell a vehicle for you. So, and you would give them money for them selling it.
no, so if
You would
they pay
you would
my
give them
cars there.
$100.
They pay my cars there, so when they're fixing my cars, sometimes people go there and they see the cars, they're like, oh, she'll call me, Laura will call me, she'll say, somebody wants to buy this car. I say, okay, let's sell it. You know, they make a couple $100 off of the car and I get the money I need for it. That's basically what happened with that situation. And I guess she ended up giving one of the customers a temporary plate, and I guess she admitted to it. They
More
suspended-
than one. An illegal plate.
Yeah, I had nothing to do. I didn't know about it, but she admitted to it and they fined her and suspended her license and stuff like that. I had no idea about it. She was gonna come with me tonight. Well, on the 21st, she was gonna come with me, but she couldn't make it today.
So then we have, so again, do you know what Mr. Penafiel? He said that he's been doing, he responded to the investigator, said that he's had a working relationship with you for several years. He's the owner of JP Automotive on Curtis Street.
It's the same business.
So he said, the investigator interviewed him and he said that you would give them $100 for every car that they sold, which A, you don't have a license to sell vehicles in Rhode Island. B, you'll have to forgive me because there's so much paperwork here. I'll have to see where it says that some of these were salvage vehicles.
Well, about the salvage thing, these cars in Massachusetts, I have a copy of the title of one of the cars. In Massachusetts, if a car's 10 years old, when it gets crashed or totaled, then the state of Massachusetts does not salvage them. The insurance company doesn't salvage a car that's over 10 years old at the time of the accident. They do not salvage them in Massachusetts, but Rhode Island considers them salvage. I have a copy here.
Right, so if you're gonna sell cars in Rhode Island and it's considered a salvage vehicle, because these reports, these investigation reports are from Mr. Goodwin, and this is Rhode Island.
Yeah, so that's the thing, like, Rhode Island's considering them salvage, but in Mass, they are not.
Right, and you're not licensed in Mass, and the bill of sale says
No,
Danny
I'm not licensed in
Martinez.
Rhode Island, yes.
I mean, excuse me, I meant to say you're not licensed in Rhode Island. So all these bill of sales, so this harkens back to the last incident we had where myself and President Cooper totally had your back on.
Yeah, so with that situation, I ended up fixing that situation. So if you see here, it says salvage, but this is Rhode Island that put the salvage on it. But besides that stamp, nowhere on this title it says salvage. These cars are not salvage. So when they buy it off me, they know these cars are crashed. They're seeing.
Yeah, but they're not buying them off you. They're not walking on your property. They're not even seeing your face. They don't even know who you are.
I understand that, but let's say, all right, I got my.
Which is exactly like what happened last time when I thought they were shaking you down for money.
Right, me
And
too.
See,
she's like, you're like, I don't know who this woman is. She's never stepped on my property. She's never seen my face. And she was arguing, this bill of sale says R&D.
Yes, and
And so we have a Honda CRV, a Toyota RAV4, a Honda Accord, and, oh no, the Armada's the new one. All of which, so I mean, basically you're pretty lucky because if it sits on these people's lot and they're like, oh, hey, I want that Honda, it just happens to be Danny's, and then they get a bill of sale from Massachusetts and they've never seen your face or been near property.
I understand. So I brought some titles here with me so you can see. So if in these cars, I could retitle them and they come back reconstructed and they come back on my name personally.
If you sell them in Massachusetts.
No. So all right, if I buy the car, these cars are not salvaged, so I could just retitle them and they come back under my personal name.
So I have a question, if I might just jump in. I have a question about that. Because in the new,
Looking at, I want to know, are you talking about?
Which one?
Are you
Yeah.
talking about the
Oh, no,
Armada?
this is just.
this is the,
That's an
oh, I see.
example.
That's an, okay.
With me, so if you look at the name on it, it comes back under my name, Daniel Martinez.
Right, because you purchased the vehicle at auction and you're looking for a title.
Yeah, so we retitle them to sell them to Rhode Island. That's why it says reconstructed, but we could sell them without retitling them. Well, so I could sell them in Rhode Island. I retitle them now. They send it on my name. I don't have to, if you look at it, I don't have to sell it under R&D auto sales, but since I stand behind the cars, if you look at I stand behind the cars, so I give the dealer paperwork with it because it's for the warranty or the lemon law purpose. Understand?
I do understand.
Yeah, so I don't.
But it doesn't make me feel any better. I understand what you're saying about salvage in Massachusetts as opposed to Rhode Island.
Yes.
Who's selling cars in Rhode Island?
I'm not, well, you know, I live in Rhode Island, I live in Providence, and half of the property, if you look at my the diagram of the property, half of my lot and half of my building is Rhode Island. I know I don't have a license for Rhode Island. I'm not making excuses for that. So I have, like, since the corona came, what we've been putting cars online. You know, we had to shut down. I didn't get no loans from nobody, no help from anybody. So we started putting cars online. My friends was helping me sell cars because I shut down. I just had got my license back at the end of 2019. The beginning of 2020, the corona comes and I'm stuck. I got no loans. I got no help from anybody. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got inventory there. So we started putting them online. And we was bringing the cars to people. If I made a mistake, I don't know what's the problem with. Somebody called me, hey, Danny, we can't do this. Instead of like trying to take my license every time, I don't have a complaint from customers.
But that's not the point.
No, I
mean,
understand. I'm just trying to.
Right. I've never had a complaint that said, oh, hey, Danny Martinez did this or whatever. I've never had a customer complaint. But you have to understand, we're responsible for you to run your business in this city. I'm responsible to come back to these counselors and tell them, this place is legit. Yes, please vote in favor of his license. So they trust me to do this. And if I don't do my job, I'm not being honest with them, and nobody's being honest with the residents that allow you to do business here. But, so this is, can I hold on to this for a second? So this is gonna be perfect for our next one. But I had a question on, I assume Laura doesn't work for you anymore?
No, she's the one that does all my letterheads, my paperwork, like bill of
Right.
sales and work orders.
And that would give Curtis your previously signed bill of sales that you don't even know what's going on, but you signed it and give it to her. and
No,
then-
with them cars, I didn't
sell
know
it.
what's going on. I'm the one, those are my cars. I'm the one selling them. I could show, if I could go online and show you all the cars we buy and everything. Like, I'm not hiding anything. Like, I'm not trying to rip nobody off. I'm not trying to do any damage to anybody. You know,
So you'll have to give me a second. I don't know, if President Coop, if you have any questions. I just need to look through
I
this
do.
for a second.
everybody that had a complaint about a car, even these cars right here, you gotta ask the Rhode Island DMV. I gave everybody their money back. They couldn't register the cars. I had no problem. I gave them their
Yeah,
money back.
because you're on the list of don't register a car that's sold from R&D.
That was since last Tuesday. I spoke to him about it.
You spoke to who, when?
Bill, it was last Tuesday.
And you are on the list or not on the list?
No, I'm on the list. I'm gonna go there and speak with him tomorrow. I was waiting for today to go there and speak with him. I don't know his last name, but I know his name is Bill.
Goodwin.
Yeah, I've been emailing him and talking to him.
So, Daniel, I'm struggling here.
Trust me, I'm struggling too.
I'm struggling because to me, these are deep and troubling allegations with a lot of evidence that you can't give me a clear reason why I should support continuing your license when I want you to remember the last time we had this conversation in this council chamber.
About this situation, we haven't.
No, we've had these situations, Daniel, in the past, right? We've talked on the phone. There was a woman, I can't remember her name.
About the last.
So let me finish. So I'm having a hard time, right? Because I see lots of signatures. I see reports from the Rhode Island, allegations and reports from the investigative reporter, the officer from Rhode Island who says that signatures aren't, the original, the person in question was not the person that signed that. On this most recent one?
The most recent.
This most recent complaint that we received yesterday or the day before.
Okay, see that all right, I bought that car from a tow truck driver. He goes to my shop, he delivers.
All right, wait, do you mind? just
No, go ahead.
So are we moving on to this new one?
Well, if I could speak on what you just said about the last thing. So last time I was here, my license got revoked and it had nothing to do with anything I did.
Actually, it did because you handed over your business. Your license stipulates that you're supposed to be on the grounds running this business. That's in your license. You weren't there. You had somebody else running your business.
That's not why my license got taken.
That was part of why your license was revoked.
I have the article here of the newspaper.
I know, listen, and I apologize profusely over my error, and everybody knows what my error was, but that's not all of why the license was revoked.
Well, when that happened last time, I gave him power of attorney, the guy Richard Lewis. He had full control, power of attorney. So when you get them power of attorney, it's like he could do anything I can do. He could sign for me and everything. It was an unlimited power of attorney. I have it in my office. If you need me to bring it in or fax it over, I can. So that's regarding that. Well, see, like when they took my license last time, I had no idea. And I ended up calling you guys. I didn't know why they took it. And I didn't know why they put me all over the newspaper saying that I was a drug dealer and breaking in people's houses. And it wasn't me. And I showed you the article of the person that actually got arrested for drugs and breaking in people's houses. When you sign up for these licenses, you make us take a BCI, the fingerprints and stuff. So on the newspaper said I got arrested in 2016 for breaking and entering and selling heroin in the city of Attleboro. In 2017 is when, at the end of 2017, you issued me my license. So in 2018, at the end of 2018, my license got taken. I get it back at the end of 2019, then Corona comes and then you're just having issues with me. I didn't do nothing. If I made a mistake, I don't see what's the problem saying, hey, Daniel, you made a mistake. You can't do this or do that. Like, why drag me in here, just try to take my.
But it's not
Daniel,
up to
it's not,
us to,
look at this.
to tell you what
Look
your
at this
errors are.
information, right? This is not a mistake.
I haven't received.
This is not a mistake.
All right.
You
so
can
don't
have a
know
copy of
anything-
this.
You spoke to Investigator Goodwin regarding the
Yes,
Armada.
yes, I spoke to him about it.
Okay, so who signed the title? Who signed for the?
The guy I bought the truck off of, and he ordered the title. I gave him the application. He ordered the title. I can't, them type of titles, he didn't have one. So I can't order that title. If you call it RMV, the only person that can order the title is the person that has.
The return address is yours.
Yes, I know.
And the other name is Jason Delmonico, who didn't sign this.
Okay, so if I don't have a title for that vehicle, how do I know his name, the title number, all I can know of the vehicle is the VIN number. He bought the car from I know he bought the car from the auction because I seen it coming off his truck with all the stickers on it. You know what I mean?
So who forged his signature?
Who?
Who forged Jason Delmonico's signature?
The guy that I bought the truck off, and he was supposed to go with me to DMV. I talked to Billy about it. I said, listen, I'm trying to call the guy.
So he's gonna go to the Rhode Island investigator and confess?
Yeah, he was supposed, I talked to Billy about it. He was supposed to go down there with me and he's a tow truck driver. He goes to Jersey and to Maryland and drive. He has a 4-car trailer. He works for this dispatch company that, if you got a car in Maine or something, you put it on the computer and a tow truck brings it to you. He came to my shop numerous times. He had that truck on top of it was all rusted. He had it on top of his truck. I said, what are you doing with that? He's like, oh, I might just junk it. I don't have a title for it. So I was like, I'll buy it from him. So I was buying the truck off of him and he said, hey, I could get you the title. Just give me the application. I gave him the application and I gave him a $25 check.
You gave him this application for the new title from the Mass DOT?
Yes, and I gave him a $25 check.
Who signed Delmonico's name on the application that you gave him?
I gave him the application. I don't know if he signed it. When the title came in, he signed it.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Because I don't know the title information. I'm not the one that ordered. You need the title number and you need the person's name to do it. You need the address. You need the person's information.
He had it. Whoever
another-
filled this out had it.
What about this one? So this is the Mass DOT assignment of certificate of title by owner. So we have two different signatures of,
See, because the title, he came in and he signed it in front of me, but the application,
who signed it in front of you?
the guy, his name is Joe. He's
So
a
you
tow truck.
saw him sign Jason Delmonico?
Yeah.
All right.
I bought the truck off of him.
Right, so if he signed it in front of you, you knew he was forging it then? Because we have a Jason Delmonico signature here and here. See this one and see
Yes.
this one?
Yes.
Two different signatures. So
Yeah.
these are two forgeries from two different people. So did you witness this forgery or this one?
The one on the title.
So you had the title number that you just said you didn't have.
No, I didn't have, the title came to me, to my shop. I gave him the application and a check, a $25 check. Then I bought the truck off of him and he said he could get me the title, just give me the application. I gave it to him. The only way he could get it is if he has the information. That car came from the auction. I don't know which auction, but it has stickers all over it from the auction. I'm not gonna try to risk my license for I bought the truck for $2,500.
You just did.
I understand. That's why I'm here. I understand, but I'm not purposely doing it. Like I sell too many.
What do you mean if you're not?
Well, and you watched him forge the title.
I didn't know he was forging it. I bought the
You
truck
thought he
off
was
of him.
Jason Delmonico?
I just know him as Joe. He's a. I don't know if he's Nigerian or from Ghana. I just know him as Joe. He goes there all the time. If I buy a car from the auction and we put it on dispatch to get it delivered to us, he comes sometimes.
So when the investigator contacted Attorney Delmonico in Boston, Attorney Delmonico reported that he was the owner of this vehicle and that he sold it at CarMax. traded it in at CarMax.
Okay.
I think that CarMax is a pretty big dealership, and I don't know that they're messing around with titles.
I didn't buy it from the auction, but the guy who had it has stickers all over it, like from the auction.
So I'm just wondering why the guy that had the vehicle from the auction, as reported by you, didn't have the title from the auction when the vehicle went from CarMax to the auction. Yet Attorney Delmonico, when
that's
contacted
why I didn't pay him till the title got there, because he was gonna junk the car. He wanted $2,500 for it, and junking that wasn't gonna get you that. They only gave you about $600. Excuse me. They only give you about $600 because of the cat and the weight of the vehicle. They just buy the metal and the Cadillac converter off of it. So it just had some rust on it. So I'll buy it off you. Gave me the title. He told me to give him the application. I gave him the $25 money or $25 check.
So this is also interesting findings of the investigator that I'll read. With this new information from Mr. Delmonico, I reached out to CarMax in Danvers, Mass, and spoke with an individual in the business office. This individual confirmed that the vehicle was traded on May 26th, 2021, with a title that listed the issue date of August 1st, 2008. This individual, I'm replacing their name for purposes of this public hearing, also let me know that the vehicle was later sold at their auction located in Norwood, Mass on June 7th, 2021. I'm perplexed why your buddy didn't have the title, yet you issued one. The state of Massachusetts issued one to you, sent to you with this individual's name on it, 2 different signatures. Nobody knows how they got there, including Attorney Delmonico, who owned the car prior. Yet nobody knows, he don't know, she don't know, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm struggling with this.
Yeah, I understand. And I even had a problem when I said, is the car stolen or what's going on with the car? Why am I being investigated for it? And he said, listen, the car came from an auction. I didn't have the title. I don't know what auction he bought it. Well, you just explained what auction, but I didn't. I just bought it off a person that had it on the tow truck. I was going to junk it. I gave him the application. See, on them applications to get the titles, they only sell it. They only send them to dealers or I believe lawyers or something like that. That they will send the title.
Right, but that doesn't give you the right to put your sign the previous owner's name, Daniel.
I didn't sign it.
Somebody did. It may be not you. Somebody did.
Yes, I do know that.
Joe.
So do any other counselors have any questions for Mr. Martinez? I see Vice President Jackson.
Thank you, President Cooper. I feel like I'm sitting watching an episode of Judge Judy. You got the shady and you got the other side of the shady. And it sounds like to me, Mr. Martinez, perhaps if you are innocent, I don't know by reading all this paperwork, if you actually are, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe you are, and maybe you just got to stop doing business with all these other shady people who are doing wrong by you, because you have put your license on hold, I think. It just sounds like it, just in reading this newest report that we just got today. Like it's crazy. So you need to rethink all the people you're doing business with, sir. That's all I have to say.
Any additional comments from the council? Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Dolan, the license mandated that Mr. Martinez had to be on site, and I heard Mr. Martinez say that he was having a power of attorney on site. Did I hear correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. Martinez.
We had that person in front of us, Rick. What was his name?
Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis. He came and testified because we had called him in here when we found out that
That was
Danny.
2000. That was when his license was revoked.
Yes.
For your, just to clarify, Councilor Conti, if I may, Daniel, to Councilor Conti's point, since your license was revoked, since that day it was revoked and or granted, the new one was granted, have you been running the operation, or have you still given that work to your power of attorney?
No, he's not there anymore.
I
It's just me.
understand.
It's just me and my son over there.
Rick, is that clear now?
That's exactly what I wanted to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, since I've came back, he's never been there at all.
I'm going to make one more comment and then I'm done. So I don't think that I'm as forgiving tonight as Councilor Jackson. might be. And if you remember the vote the last time, it was close. And I have heard from individuals that have never stepped on your property yet, bought cars from you in the past. And now I have a folder of allegations from the Rhode Island investigator. And I don't think that I can or would, at this point, hearing what I've heard, could support continuing your license, Daniel. Until you can get from me something that relinquishes you from everything that's in this folder.
I'm standing here telling you I'm the one that sold them cars. I sold them cars and I returned their money to them people. Like, I'm fixing these cars at a body shop. And the lady works with me and she said, I got a customer for this car. Okay, let's sell it. I was hurting here,
Listen.
Let me finish. I'm hurting here, And when my license got taken in 2018, I lost everything. All my investors, all my investments, everything. My thing was on the newspaper that I'm a drug dealer. I broke in people's houses, everything. I lost it. I came in here, stood in front of you, and you grilled me about this and that, stuff that had nothing to do. Even you admitted I had no customer complaints. There was no complaints against me. I got my license in 2017 and for 1 month. And then 2018, I got my license back. I renewed the license 2018. You take it the same year, saying I'm a drug dealer and breaking in people's houses. Nobody said I'm sorry to me till right now. When I came here, it's the first time I heard I'm sorry. Everybody makes mistakes. I made a mistake and I'm here standing in front of you guys defending my license. I stand behind these cars. I could sell them personally. It has my name. I don't need to sell them through R&D Auto Sales, but I'm standing behind these cars. I believe in the product I'm selling. I don't have a customer complaint. It's not the customer's complaining. If I made a mistake on the paperwork, I'm sorry. I used to be with this girl, Rosanna. She was the one that owned the business with me. She did all the paperwork. I'm the guy fixing the cars. So I'm learning that as I'm going along and I'm being treated like a criminal.
So
Are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you. So you can sell a certain number of cars as an individual, but I want you to tell me, of the individuals listed in here, how many of these people came to your lot on Dickens Street to buy these cars?
No, they haven't.
No, how many? Give me the number.
There was three.
No. How many of these individuals that you are aware of?
You told me there's 3 cars there.
No, there's the Honda.
Honda.
How many of these came to 116 Dickens Street to buy these cars and sign these documents at that
Out of
dealership?
them 3, none.
None. Thank you very much. That concludes my comments. And any questions from the council? Seeing none, Councilor Dolan, do you have any additional questions for Mr. Martinez?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. Daniel, thank you. We're going to move on to see if there's anybody else. I don't know if there's anybody on the Zoom for neither for nor against, and then we'll continue to move forward this evening. Is there anyone else here? Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition?
No.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? Councilor Dolan, what do you, should we have the, Mr. Martinez did mention, since he's since walked out of the room, I can't ask him the question. If his attorney, he had mentioned that he had tried to schedule with an attorney to come before the council. So at this point, I would leave the public hearing open for the investigator to come.
And he also said that
Mr.
he was-
Martinez also reported that he was going to contact the investigative office. And I think hearing that information may or may not help his case. But I think that leaving it open for him to give him the opportunity to schedule with his attorney to come and address the council, and then to also hear from the investigator if we think that that's worthy. So at this time, I'm going to leave this public hearing open and continue it until.
Can't be the second.
Can't be the second, November 16th.
President Cooper,
Yes.
just for the record, I'm abstaining from this issue given my vocation at the Registry of Motor Vehicles.
Thank you. I will let the record reflect that. And you know what, Jay, I didn't, thank you for pointing that out, Councilor Delicio, and I might suggest that for the rest of the testimony, you recuse yourself from any participation in the matter. I see you went off line there, so sorry if you didn't hear me, but for the continuation, I would just recuse yourself for the rest of the discussion.
Thank you for that. And for the record, I have throughout this process so far this evening.
Thank you. So this matter is continued until November 16th to give Mr. Martinez the opportunity to schedule with his attorney a time to address the council either in writing or in person on the 16th, and also to offer the opportunity for the investigator to provide any additional information for this particular matter. Any additional questions from the council? Seeing none, Mr. Withers, would you kindly read the notice of the next public hearing?
Well, it's a public hearing setting the tax classification for fiscal year 2022.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Just so we're all clear, I am going to also keep this public hearing open and continue the discussion on the 26th. We have a special meeting next week, but I just wanted to let everybody know that because the final numbers were not completely tweaked, Jay made a decision to postpone till the 26th, but we wanted to open it this evening. So that said, is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? I know there is one, so we'll give him an opportunity to address us this evening.
Good evening, President Cooper and honorable members of the City Council. My name is Bill Larson. I live on Fairway Drive in Attleboro, Massachusetts. I also am a business owner at 90 Olive Street for Larson Tolling Stamping. I am a member of the school committee, but I am not speaking on their behalf at all whatsoever tonight. If this was normal times, I believe I would be speaking in favor of changing the rate that businesses are charged to, about 1.25 to 1. I've always felt that businesses can, obviously handle a little more expense than the residents can. And I think businesses paying a 25% premium above the residents, I've always thought was relatively fair. These are obviously not normal times. I believe I spoke last year to basically make no change. Again, this year I appear before you thinking that we really should not make any change in the rate, given all the different situations that we're in and the circumstances. I think the city this fall is going to possibly have free cash certified that is far in excess of anything the city's ever seen before. A lot of that is because of COVID funding and different grants that have come through from the state and federal government. So I implore you to watch all that and spend it wisely. I know there's some plans for it. It sounds like there's some good projects that are going to be taken care of, which is a very good thing. But I think under the circumstances that everyone's living at, I think right now to make any change could possibly do more harm than good. So I would encourage you to make no change at this time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Mr. Larson? Bill, thank you. So tonight you'll hear you might be driving home, but you'll read it in the paper tomorrow. The numbers for free cash and COVID-related stimulus money that the city has received. So the mayor communicated that to us tonight. So we'll get that.
Take care of it wisely. We all paid for it. So.
Right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. So again, Council Delicio will continue that public hearing until 10:26. And again, remember that that's a special meeting, and we'll all be remote for that meeting on the 26th. Any additional comments or questions from the council before we move on?
President Cooper, if I could.
Yes.
Thank you. Speaking with Julie Hobson today, I just think it's important to notice that this delay isn't caused because of anything in the assessor's office. We are still waiting for the certification to come through. It's a little longer than it has been in years past. So just thought it was important to let the council know.
Thank you. And I also, I think I saw Council Conti's hand. Richard, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to inform you and the council that I will not be attending the meeting next week.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions or comments? And Richard, again, that's just a continued public hearing. It's not the vote, just to be clear.
I know that, but I wanted to inform you formally, but I didn't get a chance.
No, I appreciate that, Richard. Thank you. Any additional questions or comments on this issue? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the mayor's communication.
One more public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more public hearing on the
Fire
fire
engine.
truck. Yes, you are correct.
We also have a public hearing regarding the following loan order to replace a frontline fire engine. Ordered that $675,000 be appropriated for the cost of purchasing and equipping a fire engine. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $675,000 under Section 7, subsection 1 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any action necessary to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment of the costs of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in favor? And again, Jim, just to confirm, is there's no one on the Zoom?
That is correct.
Great, thank you. Anyone in opposition? Anybody neither for nor against? Seeing none, I believe this is a Richard's committee. Capital improvements, or is it public?
I think it's.
What committee is this in Richard? Yes, Council Conti, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
Thank you. That public hearing is closed. And moving right along to the mayor, now to the mayor's communication.
All right. October 19, 2021, Dear Municipal Council. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Park and Forestry, Derek Corsi, regarding the need for funds to purchase a 2022 Ford F-350 with Fisher plow to replace an existing 2008 Ford F-350. This item is number 1 on the 2022 to 2026 capital improvements plan for the Parks and Forestry Department. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $53,379.80 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Park Heavy Truck. Upon approval, the available balance in reserve for transfer, including any pending requests, will be $50,749.39. Copies in your packets.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Health Department Outreach Worker / Case Manager Tesha Silva and Public Health Nurse Jacqueline Joy O'Brien regarding the donation of $100 in Stop and Shop gift cards by an anonymous resident of the community. These cards will be offered by the Health Department's Public Health Nurse and Outreach Worker to individuals and families in need. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the gifts of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Kenneth Hayes, 165 Park Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Cultural Council, term to expire February 2022. Copies in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Albert Richmond, 107 Dean Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Disability Commission, term to expire February 2023. Copies also in your packets.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
The city received a request from RMS Land Corporation to purchase 20,000 plus or minus square foot piece of property located on Pond Street in the town of Seekonk that the city of Attleboro owns, shown as parcel A on the plan entitled Land Surveyed for RMS Land Corp. Pond Street, Seekonk, Massachusetts, prepared by E. Otis Dyer, RPIS, PO Box 5368. I'm sorry, PO Box 5, 368 Fairview Avenue, Rehoboth, Mass. 02769, dated August 25th, 2021. Pursuant to Chapter 2-11.2, disposition of real property, a communication was sent to the department heads and there was no interest in this property. It is currently assessed at $8,800. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to hold a public hearing in accordance with Section 2-11.2 of the city ordinances to declare that the plus or minus 20,000 square foot piece of property will be available for disposition. Copies in your package.
Zoning and Land Use Committee, please. And Council Cobus, would you like to have a public hearing on that matter on October 16th?
16th, yes.
Thank you. A roll call vote is required and we'll begin with Council.
Excuse me, President Cooper, that's November 16th.
What did I say? October? Oh,
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
because I can't read my own writing. Yes, 11:16. The roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. Simone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
I respectfully submit a communication from Economic Development Director Catherine Furyk regarding a donation of a downtown action strategy for the city of Attleboro funded through Mass Development and prepared by Santee as part of the Transformative Development Initiative. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept this generous gift to the city of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, please.
As you may recall, on October 5th, 2021, a request was sent to your honorable body from Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stoll, regarding the need for funds related to the Bristol County Agricultural High School, or BCAHS, debt service. Revised final numbers were received from BCAHS the following day and were slightly higher than the original funds requested. Therefore, I respectfully request a transfer of $4,724.43 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Education Bristol Agricultural High School debt. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $46,024.96. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from George I. Spatcher Jr., Chairman of the Board of Election Commissioners, regarding the decennial re-precincting. In accordance with the applicable provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 54, each municipality within the Commonwealth is required to go through the process of re-precincting every 10 years based upon the results of the latest U.S. Census. The Board of Election Commissioners have approved the citywide map, ward and precinct descriptions, and demographic block reports to re-precinct the city's 12 precincts with the existing 6 wards at their meeting on October 6, 2021. A vote on the municipal council is required to send to the state. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the decennial re-precincting as presented by the Board of Election Commissioners. Copies in your packets.
Ordinances, elections, and legislative.
And I just have a comment on that if I could. I didn't put it in your packets. There's hard copies in everyone's mailbox. It's in color and it's much better than if I copied it. So just want to let everyone know.
Great, thank you.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Parks and Forestry, Derek Corsi, regarding the need for funds to pay a fiscal year 21 hoisting license reimbursement to an employee. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $75 to account park licenses to account park prior year's license. Copies in your packets.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stoll, regarding the receipt of $9,557,617 through the American Rescue Plan Act. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds and any future grant amendments. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
For your information, the city was notified by the Department of Revenue on October 13th, 2021 of our general fund free cash approval and the water wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings as of July 1st, 2021 as follows. General fund, $13,912,318. Water enterprise fund, $1,825,798. Wastewater enterprise fund, $1,983,064. That's an FYI.
Yes, sir.
I respectfully submit a communication with Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stoll, regarding the need for funds to install gunshot detection systems into every Attleboro public school. A 5% contingency is included in the request. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $508,239.27 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund the 3430 shooter detection. Copies in your packets.
Public Safety Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stoll, regarding the need for funds to replenish school utility accounts that were used to balance the fiscal 2022 budget. A fiscal 2022 budget was developed using the governor's budget proposal, and once the final state budget was passed, it left a $1,179,633 gap in the school budget. In order to keep a balanced budget at the time we passed ours, the school department artificially inflated their utility accounts. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to appropriate $1,179,633 of available free cash from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to the accounts listed below.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
The gate opening fobs for the DPW highway yard are starting to not work properly. In reaching out to our vendor, they explained to us that the gate fobs are traditionally only good for 5 years and then need to be replaced. The Lamb Street yard is just over 5 years old, so the fobs have reached their life expectancy. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $2,565 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to account citywide gate fob. Upon approval, the available balance from reserve fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $43,459.96.
Public Works Committee, please.
And finally, as you know, on October 5th, 2021, Director of Budget and Administration Jeremy Stoll sent a fiscal year, an FYI memorandum with an estimated fiscal 2022 debt service of $199,725 for excluded debt related to the Attleboro High School project being sold on October 18th, 2021. After the sale, I'm pleased to report that the actual figure came in lower at $186,825. The city got a favorable premium and was able to resize the issuance and lower the interest costs associated with the debt. Our true interest cost is 2.36%, and the final maturity is November 1st, 2051. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body approve a supplemental appropriation of $186,825 to account education AHS issue 4 interest. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
Sincerely, Paul Haru, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to the clerk's communication.
Yeah, we have several, they're all license renewals. We have a Class 2 license renewal for Just Trailers, Inc. at 1863 County Street with 12 customer spaces and 7 display spaces. We have a Class 2 license renewal for 100% auto wholesale at 21 Washington Street with 10 customer parking and 45 display spaces. We have a Class 2 license removal from Bristol County Auto Sales LLC at 227 Pine Street with 10 customer parking spaces and 10 display. We have a Class 2 license renewal for Blue and White Motors, Inc. at 1815 County Street with customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces. We have a Class 2 license renewal for JT Automotive LLC, doing business as Kia of Attleboro at 795 Newport Avenue. And that's wrong. That should be a Class 1. Sorry about that. With 46 customer parking spaces and 195 display spaces. We have a Class 2 license renewal for Trusted Auto, Inc. at 64 Pleasant Street with 5 customer parking spaces and 18 display spaces. We have a Class 2 license renewal for New England Automax, Inc., doing business as Automax Pre-Owned at 800 Washington Street with 10 customer parking spaces and 100 display spaces. We have a Class 1 renewal for National Van Builders, Inc. at 70 through 84 Pine Street and 7 Parker Street with 8 customer parking spaces and 45 display spaces. And finally, we have an automatic amusement device license renewal for New England Authentic Eats LLC, doing business as Papagino's at 107 Pleasant Street with 1 coin-operated machine. And again, those are all licensed committee.
Thank you.
Yep.
And now we can move to committee reports, and we'll start with Council Blair.
Public Safety Emergency Management has no business to bring forward this evening, but request a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor DeSimone.
Thank you, President Cooper. Traffic and Transportation also has no business to bring forward this evening, and we look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has two motions to bring before the council this evening, both from the docket of October 19th, 2021. I move to transfer $32,340 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer to the Recreation Briggs Pool to replace pumps at the Freddie Briggs Pool.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any additional comments, Counselor Conti?
We discussed this in committee meeting last week, and this is a very valuable resource for the Recreation Department. We have to keep it up in tip-top shape. I highly recommend the passage of this measure, and that concludes my comments.
Great, thank you. Any additional comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Now, just to reiterate what I said last week, this particular park and pool is essential to the well-being of the east side. I'd like the councilors and the community on the whole take a ride by that park and you'll see how well it's used. The pool is essential for the kids over there, so the pumps are a necessity. But there's no vandalism there, and the neighborhood has taken ownership of that facility. And it's an asset and a necessity to the east side. And I highly recommend that my fellow councilors see that and approve this expenditure. I know it's expensive, but it's necessary.
So to the vote now.
A vote. Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Waterman?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
Clovis? I'm
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Lucio. Mr. Lucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dole?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank
Counselor
you,
Conti.
Mr. President. As previously stated from the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to transfer $7,000 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer to the Budget and Administration Professional Services account to install an air conditioning system for the server at the offsite data storage backup space.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments, Counselor Conti?
Computers like cold air. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the council? Seeing none, roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Clovis?
Yes.
Vice President Jackson?
Yes.
Did I miss Mr. Lucio again?
Yes.
So, Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Conti?
Yes.
DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great, thank you. Counselor Waterman.
Thank you. Reporting from the Personnel, Veterans and Human Services Committee from the docket of October 19th, 2021. I would move to approve the confirmation of the following reappointments for the positions and terms as indicated. Barbara Clark, Council on Human Rights, 3-year term, expiring February 2024. Rose McConey, appointed to the Conservation Commission, a 3-year term, expiring February 2024. Jason Giddle to the Planning Board, 5-year term, February 2026 expiration. Christopher Quinn as a health officer, 1-year term, expiring February 2022. Kyle Hegney, lockup keeper, that's a 1-year term, expiring February 2022.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
These 5 confirmations were all made earlier this year. These individuals simply need to go down to the clerk's office and get sworn in. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delisi,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
That concludes the business of the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. I'll call for the next meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Jackson.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for the Public Works Committee. I have 4 motions, but I'm only bringing 3 this evening. I still need to discuss something with our health agent because I did have a counselor ask me questions with regards to that motion, so I'll bring that out next Tuesday. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to approve expending $49,270 of the culvert replacement municipal assistant grant to replace the culvert on Peckham Street and any future grant amendments. Please note that there is no matching requirement.
second,
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. The roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delisi,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of August 17th, 2021, I move to approve the request of National Grid and Verizon to install a new Joe pole on Peckham Street to install 3-phase primary side taps for future solar farm at 179 Peckham Street.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
Nope, we had our public hearings on both of this one and the next motion that I bring forward. We did have questions at the first public hearing. It was continued at the second public hearing. We had resolved the issues.
Great, thank you. Any additional comments? Roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delisi,
Yes.
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of August 17, 2021, I moved to request from National Grid to install a 45-foot pole between P6369 and P6370 on Richardson Ave to supply a future solar farm with 3-phase overhead electrical service.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I do not.
Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delisi,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
That concludes the business for the Public Works Committee, but I would like to call for a meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Thank you. Counselor Delisi.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for Budget and Appropriations. I have 4 pieces of business to bring forward today. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $119,593.20 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Education Bristol Agricultural High School debt.
Second.
Second. Oops.
Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
Briefly, we did discuss this earlier this evening. We do have 20 Attleboro pupils enrolled in Bristol Aggie. They did a renovation, and the amount paid by surrounding municipalities is based on the enrollment numbers. Obviously, these municipalities have residents of their municipalities there. This is the first payment amount, which is due by the end of this month. As we saw in the communication today, there is an update which we'll have to vote out next week, but this is an obligation which needs to be paid. So I do want to let the council know that this will be a recurring expense as a result of the MOA as this renovation continues.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Counselor DeSimone.
Thank you, President Cooper. Just for the record, I don't think it's an issue at all, but my daughter is a student at Bristol Aggie. I just wanted to put that on the record.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
DeSimone.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Cobus,
Yes.
Dolan,
Yeah, skip her.
Hmm?
Skip her. She wasn't here for the reading.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Sorry.
Thank you. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I hereby request your honorable body approve a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $311,721.25 to account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer. The money is a one-time rebate check from National Grid with no restrictions on its use.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Additional comments?
Again, this is a rebate check from National Grid. There are no limitations on this. And my comment is, I think that we have a fire truck that we heard about tonight that perhaps the administration might want to use this money to offset some of the debt from that fire truck. But just a suggestion, they'll do what they want.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay a WB Mason's previous year school bill totaling $45.09 as identified in Mr. Furtado's communication.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Delissio,
Yes,
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
and finally, from the docket of October 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to rescind the intergovernmental state and county assessments in the amount of $5,893,047. I'm sorry, let me try that again. $5,893,457 within council vote number 10 of June 17th, 2021. Replace it as with the amounts listed below, which I would request a waiving of the reading, and I can read the final numbers if you'd like.
Yes, I think just read the final 5 million, the change.
Yep.
Council.
I'll read the program, the House Ways and Means budget, the final figure and the difference. Total all charges estimated $5,893,457, which was the original vote. The updated numbers are $5,946,437, which is a difference of positive $52,980.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
Briefly, this is something we do annually. Once the updated numbers come in from the Ways and Means Committee, once the state budget is finalized, we need to vote this in order for the budget recap to balance.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes,
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. And President Cooper, I just want to reiterate, next week I'm going to call for a meeting at 6 o'clock. And I don't know if that's going to conflict with Council Holmes' meeting, if she's going to meet beforehand. But the reason I'm asking for an early meeting, and I can be flexible if we need to look at having it on an off night, but I'd like to have a discussion about the certified free cash. As we saw tonight, we have a large number than normal. And I think as a council, we should have a discussion and make a recommendation to the administration as to best how to utilize the free cash in order to plan for the future, whether we witness an economic downturn, COVID resurgence, or something else. I think it warrants a discussion to ensure that we're planning for the future with such a large amount. Also, I'd like to have Jeremy come down and discuss the ARPA funds, how it can be used, what it can be used for, what the current plans are, and just some of the other things that I think we all have questions about that we've had since really we figured out what the ARPA funds were going to look like. So other than that, that does conclude the business for budget and appropriations. And I just called for a budget meeting next week at the appropriate time.
So next week we will have both. We'll have the special meeting. We'll start first with tax classification and then move right to regular committee meetings. So if you feel like you want to invite them down to the regular meeting at the regular time, you can do that. If you want to start at 6, but we're stopping at 7 so we can start the public hearing promptly. So if it goes over, just want to sort of flag that as a potential. So it's totally up to you. We're going to do both on next Tuesday. Regular,
Right.
Special. It's up to you.
No, that's why I figured we'd start early, because I think the stabilization conversation will be one of several.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these conversations, it can be like herding cats sometimes.
Agreed. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Kobus.
Thank you. Reporting for the Zoning and Land Use Committee, I have 7 street acceptances to go through tonight. The first one from the docket of September 21st, 2021. I move to approve the following street acceptance pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Pheasant Hill Road as a public way, length of 449.23 feet from station 0 to station 4 plus 49.23, and accept said way and any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all as shown on a plan and profile entitled Rolling Hills Estates, section 6, acceptance plan and profile, Pheasant Hill Road, Attleboro, Massachusetts, dated August 28th, 2022, revised through March 5th, 2021, prepared by Brian J. Weiner, RPE, and Kenneth G. McKenzie, Jr., PLS, which plan and profile have been deemed satisfactory to the Superintendent of Public Works.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
We talked about these. We had the public hearing for them. Same comments for all of these. I encourage people to accept these collectively. It adds just over a mile of roads to our public roadways. So collectively, right now we have 185 feet of road. So it's less than, it's about half a percentage total roadways that we're adding, which doesn't sound like much, but it is important that we get this accepted because that impacts our Chapter 90 funding. So I encourage everybody to accept all 7 of these. That concludes my comments.
Thank you for your comments. I would suggest that you could read to the length of the street for the next 6. And if anybody has any questions, they can call that out, since I believe you did it in committee.
We did.
Just,
okay, fair enough.
All right. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Delizio.
Yes.
Kobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Colonial Way as a public way, length of 965.37 feet.
Second.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Kobus.
Yes.
Mr. Delizio.
Yes.
Vice President Jackson.
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And from the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance. Pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Chickadee Way as a public way, length of 1,536.62 feet.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments or questions? A roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Conti,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Delicio,
yes,
Jacobus,
Yes.
Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance. Pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Sparrow Way as a public way, length of 415.34 feet.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments? Roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Jacobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance. Pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Cardinal Way as a public way, length of 1,189.35 feet.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments? Seeing none, the roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Conti,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Jacobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance. Pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Ledgewood Circle as a public way, length of 453.37 feet.
second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments? Seeing none, the roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Mr. Jacobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Mr. Blair,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And the last one, from the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the following street acceptance. Pursuant to section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as amended to lay out Preservation Way as a public way, length of 998.08 feet.
second,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
yes,
DeSimone,
yes,
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Jacobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And that concludes the business for the Zoning and Land Use Committee. And I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan.
thank you. Reporting for License Committee, I have three motions. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to approve the Class 2 license for CNS Millennium Motors, 1844 County Street with 10 customer spaces and 8 display spaces.
second,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
yes,
Ms. Reynolds,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes,
Mr. Jacobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
yes,
Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to improve Automazed Inc. of 885 Washington Street for a Class 2 renewal application with 10 customer parking spaces and 55 display spaces and 48 storage spaces.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Seeing none, roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
the Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
DeSimone,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of October 19th, 2021, I move to approve Automaze 2 Inc. at 826 Washington Street for a Class 2 license with 13 customer spaces, 80 display spaces, and 38 storage spaces.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Great. Roll call vote will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That concludes the license committee business for this evening, and we'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great, thank you. Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. Reporting for city property and claims this evening. We have no business, but I would like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. And Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for Ordinance Elections and Legislative Matters Committee. There is no business this evening, but we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. But I already forwarded after the committee meeting, the emails. So hopefully the full council should be getting that tomorrow.
Great, thank you. At this time, is there anybody on the Zoom, Jim?
Not at the moment.
Great, thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to
Yeah.
go into committee of the whole. I guess I got to do it.
Yeah, I guess.
Second,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
the Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. There is nobody here to address the council on any matter of city business. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to arise.
Second,
Thank you. Motion is in order and a roll call will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
the Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes,
Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes. There is no old business. There is no new business at this time. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments? Seeing none, the roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
yes.
Vice President Jackson,
yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
DeSimone,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 8:19.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Hi, everyone. Have a good night.